The Emperor's New Grades. Why so many young people believe in Palestine gender fluidity, critical race theory and other lies. It's not just that they're stupid. The problem is systemic. By Devine. You may have been wondering why, in recent years, so many students who seem to be receiving education have been falling for completely ahistorical and disprovable nonsense like critical race theory, gender fluidity, and of course the violent elephant in the room, the pro-Palestine movement. One would think even the most basic education would teach people to know better than to follow such bizarre trends when myriad texts exist for multiple millennia debunking each of these ideas. A story that may shed some light on this phenomenon is that of William A., a dyslexic student who graduated with a 3.4 GPA but couldn't read, suing his school for failing to provide adequate special education, revealing systemic failures where workarounds like AI replaced real learning, leading to functional illiteracy despite high grades. Key details of the William A. case, Tennessee. Source: Live 5 News https://share.google/llbr1699n8fnhz. The student, William A., who has severe dyslexia, graduated with a 3.4 GPA. The problem: he couldn't read or write his own name, relying heavily on speech-to-text and AI tools, like ChatGPT and Grammarly, to complete assignments, essentially having technology do the work for him. The lawsuit. His family sued the Clarksville-Montgomery County School System, CMS, for failing to provide a free appropriate public education, FAPE, and not implementing proper dyslexia interventions like the Wilson reading system. The ruling. An administrative law judge awarded him compensatory education hours, a ruling CMS is appealing. The core issue: the system provided accommodations like AI that helped him pass the curriculum but failed to teach him the fundamental skill of reading, a failure under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act (IDEA). Similar cases and broader problem. Another student, Alicia Ortiz in Connecticut, also sued her district for graduating functionally illiterate, highlighting this as a widespread problem in education. Alicia Ortiz lawsuit. Hartford's attorneys argue for case dismissal https://share.google/l424bsilvxq0 resjur 8. These cases expose how students with learning disabilities can achieve high GPAs through loopholes or tech assistance, masking a lack of core skills and raising questions about accountability and the adequacy of support systems. Why it's a problem. Graduating with high grades but no literacy skills means students aren't truly prepared for life after high school, even with a diploma in hand. It points to a need for better teacher training and a focus on evidence-based reading instruction, not just passing tests. What this means for our society. This is clearly not just an issue regarding students who have dyslexia or other abilities, because if they are passing, then other functionally illiterate students without learning disabilities are most likely getting even higher grades than them and appearing to be not just graduatable but actually high-ranking students. These two cases highlight a system-wide problem that, if not remedied within the next 5 to 10 years, will essentially wipe out the entire future American brain trust, leaving our populace at third-world educational levels, which we may not be able to come back from. If students who cannot even read are being graduated and sent to college as if they are normal students, they will continue to think that they are normal students whilst having no reading comprehension and going into left-leaning university settings full of propaganda that is spread by simple repeated slogans, dramatic staged videos and other brainwashing tools that work much better on people who cannot read books containing the truth. Thus, when arguing with pro-Palestine/leftist/radical Gen Z people, it's pointless to tell them to read a book. There's a very high likelihood that they simply cannot. We're arguing in comment sections or on X with people who use talk-to-text at all times, not because they have arthritis and or want to save typing time, but because they literally don't know how to spell the words they say. We're arguing with people who speak words into their phone and then have their phone read the answer out loud back to them and then they just copy and paste it. We're not even debating with people anymore. We are literally debating with whatever search results are provided to a particular user's algorithm. And most of these young users are building algorithms based on hero worship of violent foreign savages from backwards third world cultures that attribute nearly no value to education or debate. At this point, it's better to simply put your political information out there from your viewpoint and not engage politically with anyone under age 40 online. With the understanding that literacy is apparently currently a widespread problem in the United States, I will no longer be going into comment sections or replying to any users whom I don't see proof of them being an over 40 adult. When unearned promotion degenerates into violence, we are dealing with stupid people who have been enabled and entitled by participation trophies and pass anyone policies, many of whom have been damaged by both degenerate external society and poor in-home parental dynamics to become essentially violent brats. When individuals are encouraged to overestimate their own competence and are then placed in roles that require skills they do not possess, the mismatch can produce serious social harm. Research in psychology and sociology describes how inflated self-confidence combined with inadequate ability, often discussed in terms of the Dunning-Kruger effect and role strain, can lead to poor decision-making, frustration, and resentment when reality contradicts self-image. If such individuals are given authority, responsibility, or moral certainty without the capacity for judgment, which we see widespread nowadays, they may respond to challenge or failure with defensiveness, scapegoating, or aggression, especially in high-stress environments such as political demonstrations. Just look at any social media feed to see videos of this playing out in the real world. Over time, this dynamic can escalate conflict and, in extreme cases, contribute to violence, not because lack of intelligence intrinsically causes violence, but because false empowerment without accountability removes the restraints that normally limit harmful behavior. It's no surprise that there's an entire generation essentially engaging in daily harmful behavior when we have, as a society, removed most of the functional limitations on harmful behavior. Looking forward, can we fix this? The solution is neither mysterious nor kind to comforting illusions. Public schools must stop lying about competence. When students who cannot read fluently are graduated with high GPAs, the system is not being compassionate. It is committing institutional fraud and being cruel to both the student and the society around them. Literacy has to be treated as a non-negotiable skill rather than a vibe, with external standards that actually mean something. Early intervention, compulsory remediation, and an end to grade inflation are dull, unglamorous measures, but they work. A diploma should once again signal that its holder can read, write, and reason at a basic adult level, not merely comply and repeat approved language. Equally important is teaching students how to disagree with texts, not just consume them. Functional illiteracy traps people in moral certainty because they lack the tools to check claims for themselves. A serious curriculum in reading comprehension, logic, civics, and media literacy, grounded in primary sources and competing arguments, forces students to grapple with ideas rather than slogans. When young adults can read original material, spot rhetorical tricks, and compare evidence, they are far harder to herd into ideological echo chambers of any stripe. Finally, accountability has to be redirected from appearances to outcomes. Schools should be judged on real literacy gains, not graduation rates engineered to look virtuous on paper. Universities must stop colluding by lowering standards and instead require placement exams and genuine remediation. Until all of this happens, people of conscience and intelligence should try their hardest to homeschool their children or, at the very least, provide adequate home education to supplement the public school nonsense. This is not about enforcing political neutrality by decree or even poo-pooing AI technologies being used in an educational setting. It is about restoring intellectual competence. A population that can read independently does not need to be protected from ideas. It can evaluate them, reject them, and walk away unbrainwashed. The Fight Wing blog is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support this work, consider becoming a paid subscriber.